In 1990, a guy named Ronald Read started buying small batches of stock with money he earned working at a gas station. Nothing fancy. A few shares here, a few shares there. Mostly boring companies nobody bragged about at parties. He kept doing this quietly for decades while driving the same car and clipping coupons. When he died in 2014, his family found out he was sitting on $8 million. $8 million. From a janitor's salary and a gas station job. No lottery ticket, no inheritance, no secret stock tip, just small amounts of money, left alone for a very long time. And here's what should bother you about that story. It's not really about Ronald Read. It's about the fact that thousands of people had access to the exact same tool he did and never came close to that number. Same market, same decades, wildly different outcomes. So today we're answering the question that story raises. How does small money suddenly become massive money? Not eventually, not someday, suddenly. Because that's the part nobody explains properly. And once you see it, you'll never look at a savings app the same way again. Here's the paradox, sitting underneath every wealth story like this one. The money doesn't grow steadily. It grows like nothing is happening for a long time, and then it grows like everything is happening all at once. Most people quit during the nothing part. They put in $50 a month, check the account 6 months later, see basically no movement, and decide this clearly doesn't work for people like them. They're not wrong about what they're seeing. They're wrong about what it means. Growth that looks invisible for years is often building toward the exact moment it becomes impossible to ignore. The problem is, nobody can see that moment coming from the inside. It just looks like nothing, right up until it doesn't. So let's actually understand why that happens. Because it's not magic, it's math. And once you see the mechanic, the whole mystery falls apart. Picture a single dollar that grows 10% a year. Year 1, you've got $1.10. Charming, barely worth mentioning. But year 2, you're not growing that original dollar anymore. You're growing $1.10. Year 3, you're growing whatever that became. Each year, the growth is being calculated on a slightly bigger pile than the year before. And that pile is quietly doing work you never had to do yourself. Here's the part that breaks people's brains a little. For the first several years, this process looks almost identical to just saving the money in a drawer. The difference is so small, you'd need a magnifying glass to see it. But growth on top of growth doesn't move in a straight line. It moves like a snowball rolling downhill, picking up more snow with every single rotation. And a snowball doesn't look impressive for the first 10 feet. It looks impressive for the last 100. Most people are standing at the top of the hill, staring at the first 10 feet, and concluding the whole thing is a waste of time. This is exactly why two people can put in the same amount of money and walk away with completely different results, and it has nothing to do with which stock they picked. It has everything to do with how long they let the snowball roll before they reached down and grabbed it back. Which brings us to the part of this video where the math stops being theoretical and starts having names, dates, and real dollar amounts attached to it. Let's put real names and numbers on this, because abstract snowballs are nice, but actual humans pulling this off is what makes it land. Take two people who both start investing $200 a month at age 25, earning that same boring 10% average the market has historically handed out. Person 1 keeps going until 65, 40 years of contributions. Person 2 gets impatient, stops at 45 after 20 years, and just lets whatever they've already built sit there untouched for the remaining 20 years, never adding another dollar. You'd think the person who kept contributing for twice as long would crush the other one. They don't. Not even close. The person who stopped contributing early but left the snowball alone ends up with almost as much, sometimes more, than the person who kept feeding it the whole time. The contributions in those early years matter less than the years those contributions were given to sit there compounding. Time did more heavy lifting than effort did, and that single fact destroys almost everything we're taught about hustle and hard work being the answer to wealth. Here's where it gets genuinely interesting. Because this isn't just a story about patient savers. It's a story about timing nobody can predict from the inside. Most of a portfolio's lifetime growth tends to cluster in a small number of years, often the very last stretch before someone needs the money. Picture someone investing steadily for 30 years, watching slow, unremarkable progress the entire time, and then, in the final 5 years before retirement, the account grows more than it did across the previous 25 combined. That's not a glitch. That's the snowball finally rolling at full size, picking up enormous amounts of snow with every rotation, simply because the rotation itself got bigger. The frustrating, almost unfair part is that the person living through year 5 of that journey has no way of knowing they're sitting right next to the explosive part. From the inside, year 25 and year 5 look identical, slow, quiet, easy to give up on. And that's really the whole secret hiding behind every one of these massive outcome stories. It was never about picking the perfect investment or timing some genius entry point. It was about surviving the boring middle long enough to reach the part where the math takes over and does something that genuinely looks impossible from where you're standing today. Small numbers don't become massive because someone got lucky or brilliant. They become massive because somebody refused to interrupt a process that needed time more than it needed talent. The danger has never been picking wrong. The danger has always been quitting early, pulling the snowball back up the hill right before it reached the part of the slope where it would have done all the work for you. So if you remember nothing else from this video, remember this: small money doesn't become massive money through a single brilliant decision. It becomes massive through thousands of boring days nobody was watching closely enough to notice. Which means the real question isn't whether you can find the next great investment. It's whether you can stay patient enough, for long enough, to let an unremarkable amount of money quietly turn into something you can't ignore. Somewhere right now, someone is starting their own version of that gas station janitor story, and they have absolutely no idea yet which side of the outcome they're going to land on. That part gets decided years from now, by a version of them they haven't met yet. If this gave you a different way of looking at your own money, hit subscribe, because we break down exactly how this stuff works every single week.